In this video, we will demonstrate how to collect data with the VOCO. For ease of this demonstration, we don't have the VOCO attached to a subject. However, normally this headgear would be attached to your head or the subject's head, and the VOCO would be either on the desk or worn on the subject's body. And then we have the VOCO app running and everything is connected. So before even beginning an experiment, it's important to let yourself or whoever is wearing the VOCO to adjust to breathing with the mask on. I generally recommend 2 to 5 minutes, and this allows for adjustment of having an added restriction on the user's breath. It is minimal, however, it still prevents artifacts appearing on the data. So once the user has gotten used to breathing in the mask, you can simply press start. And this little notification here will appear. Are you sure you'd like to start? Note the maximum recording time is 5 hours. And then you can hit cancel or confirm. For purposes of demonstration, I'd also like to point out, you can tag your exercises with different activities, even skateboarding. So let's say that here we're going for a run. You press start, confirm, and then here the app will be collecting data. So the first page is the heart rate monitor, the second page is flow rate, the third page is CO2 shown in percent, and the fourth page is oxygen, again shown in percent. So while you're collecting data, it's generally suggested to keep the phone in a place where you can easily access it. It's important not to turn the phone on sleep mode. This will ensure the best functioning of the app. So whether you simply hold it in your hand while you're running, or if you have an armband that you like to use while you're exercising, put the phone in the band, and this allows you to easily check that everything is still connected and running while you're exercising. If there is a setup with a personal trainer, it's very convenient to have the personal trainer in control of the mobile device with the app. Again, just so that they can either give tips to the person wearing it, and again, making sure that everything is functioning properly. Before ending an experiment, for more accurate data analysis, it's generally recommended to obtain a period where there is zero flow, no flow going through the PTAC. To obtain this, before the end of an experiment, either have the user hold their breath for 5 seconds, or simply remove the mask and let the VOCO collect 5 to 30 seconds of data, and then press stop. So, to stop, hit the square, and then the app will prompt you, hit confirm, and then a summary of your exercise will appear along with the tag, the date and time that the experiment was collected, the duration, and then other statistics based on the test. A map will appear, and you can access the summary of data at the bottom: heart rate, flow, you can use a cursor, CO2, and O2. Then you can go back to the main page and either keep collecting, or you can view the summary of your data in the recent exercises. And it's easy to identify either by the tag or by the date and time in which the exercise was collected. In this video, we will be reviewing how to access and view past data runs on the VOCO app. To look at past data collected, click on the History button at the bottom of the page here, and it will bring you to a list of every single exercise or data collection that you've completed. So, for example, let's take a look at this experiment here, and then the data will load with the general summary. Again, the tag, the date, duration, some various statistics at the top, and then the raw data at the bottom. you can view your history of heart rate, flow, CO2, and O2. By clicking on the graph, you can look at a cursor for any particular data points over the course of the experiment. If, for example, we were looking at data, something like flow rate, where we can't really get any meaningful waveform response from just looking up, you can always zoom in on the data and get a little bit more information by looking at these waveforms. Similarly, CO2 and O2 can all be viewed, and it's helpful to look at this data either to mark certain events during an exercise, and also here you'll notice these little gaps in data. That is due to the automatic calibration triggering at the set frequency as described in the calibration video. In this video, we will demonstrate how to dismantle the VOCO package and give some general storage and cleaning tips. So once the user has removed their mask and removed the harness from their body, first, it's generally suggested to disconnect the tubing, disconnect the gas tube from the Nafion to avoid putting any extra torsion on the Nafion tube, and then disconnect the Nafion tube, and then put it aside in a plastic bag, and then disconnect the PTAC tube from the PTAC, and then this frees up the mask. First, we're just going to disconnect these tubes, push up on the collar here, pull down on this collar, and then the tubes will disconnect. And again, these can be put in their respective plastic bags or in the backpack for storage. So first, for the mask, to disconnect the mask, again, these clips can be either clipped or unclipped. So disconnect all of the clips. And then, again, handling the PTAC by the plastic portion, remove the PTAC, and then the PTAC adapter, again, just gently stretch the silicone so that the PTAC adapter comes out. And then to clean the mask, generally mild dish soap and hot water will work. And for that cleaning process, it's usually easier to remove these tabs. And again, just pushing down on the silicone will help pull these tabs out from the supports. And then very gently lift them out so that they can be cleaned separately and put back as well. And then these pieces can also be cleaned with mild dish soap. Similarly, it's suggested to hand wash the headgear and let it dry. And for the heart rate monitor, turn off the heart rate sensor if desired. And here you can holding it down for about 3 seconds or until the lights go away. That'll be when the heart rate monitor is actually turned off. You can wipe it with a mild disinfecting wipe. Just make sure that it's dry before you go to charge it again. And then you can place it in the charging cradle, lining these holes up with the contacts on the charging cradle. This band can also be hand washed. Similarly, the PTAC adapter can also be hand washed, left to air dry. For the PTAC, it is generally recommended that every user has their own PTAC. The PTAC can be reused user to user. Simply rinse it out, again perhaps a mild disinfectant, and then let the PTAC air dry. There are multiple PTACs supplied with the VOCO, and of course if more than 2 are desired, you can request an additional number of PTACs. Next is the harness. So To remove the VOCO from the VOCO harness, turn the unit over and you'll see these 4 clips. Press down on the clip with your thumb and then pull up with your finger until you hear a snap. And then the harness may be removed. So push the harness, or pull the harness out of the clips on one side, and then the other side. And then, same as the other components, this harness may be hand washed, left to air dry. And then the VOCO may just be left like so. To reattach the VOCO back to the VOCO harness, want to make sure all of the clips are in the open position. To use the clips, push down with your thumb and then pull up on the tab with your finger. And then make sure that the harness is facing up. This belt goes around the waist. These parts go over the shoulders. And then the VOCO is also facing the correct way. Flip both pieces so that the VOCO is on its back. And then simply slip the harness underneath the clips. And then here, for the other side, you just gently pull back and then back in again. And then any slight adjustments you need to make sure that it's straight. And then press down on the clips. And then you see here, the VOCO is stable and not going anywhere. It's also important to note that the VOCO gas tube comes with a 25 micron particulate filter. This filter is to prevent any debris, dust from getting into the VOCO sensors. Over time and a great amount of use, the filters may clog up. If you notice that the VOCO pump either gets louder or there's an effect on the gas data, then simply wash the tube with warm water and then blow it out with compressed air. If you still have questions about replacements for particulate filters or otherwise, feel free to contact info@cubitsystems.com.